Hello and a very warm welcome to episode 59 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast, a podcast about all things Hastings United. I'm your host Chris Fabric, and on today's show we have Scott Johnson. Scott, who's the founder of the Proper Blokes Club, which is a bloke-specific group promoting mental well-being by getting out and about, talking and walking. And they've got a walk coming up from RYE to Hastings, 26th of March, and we talk about it. Also on the show, we've got our now regular segment on all things women's team. Timothy Booth-Jones does Tim's Takes. And then finally, we've got the SBTS Fan Roundtable. And it's not so much Partygate, more like deep heat from the chaps on the round table as they analyse another good week for the U's. But before any of that, we have this week's shout-outs. And it's a shout-out to Mr. Shoot himself, Howard, a regular behind the goal. He wanted to mention that he hopes everyone made it through unscathed through that recent storm and they've got their power back on. Well, definitely a good week for roofers, Howard, but lovely sentiments. And now over to Scott Johnson. I'm joined by Scott Johnson. He's from the Proper Blokes Club, a great initiative that's been going for a while now. There's quite a lot of walk and talk, men's mental health, things springing up, which is excellent. Scott, I mean, do you want to first of all just kick into how things got started with this group?
So it all just stems from just my own personal experiences, really. I went through some troubles a few years ago and finally reached out and got some support from the NHS and had some counselling with those guys. But what it was with them is they give you 6 to 8 sessions and then it's just you're back out in the open again, really. So I needed to try and find ways to manage my own mental health on a sort of a daily basis, long term.
Yeah.
And I ended up Googling it, which can always be a bad thing, I guess. Wasn't too bad, and it just said about exercise was a great way to maintain good mental health and stuff like that. So walking was the one for me, really. So I just started doing lots of walking, really. In September 2020, when the group officially started, it was only going to be just a Facebook page with myself doing walks and doing videos talking about stuff that I've been through. But then it ended up developing into an actual group where people met up when we had the break in lockdown.
Yeah.
And then we started off in Sussex. One lad turned up to the first walk we done. Nearly 2 years later, we were in 5 boroughs, over 100 lads a week turned up on all the walks, and it's going from strength to strength, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's tremendous. Well, I'm going to mention it now anyway. The properblokesclub.co.uk. I mean, have a look on that website. Also, the Twitter @Blokes Club. The growth is phenomenal, and I've coming from a mental health background myself. It's a fantastic thing. Men's mental health isn't something that is given enough time, and I think the beauty of this is it's non-medicalised. I mean, a lot of things get medicalised, and you're put in a little box. I think it's the importance of just getting out of those 4 walls, getting out, being around people, and just talking and walking. I think it's a fabulous initiative. For instance, like if I was coming along and I was like wanting to get involved, how do you normally go about it? Is it just pop you an email at the properblokesclub@gmail.com, or how?
Yes. So basically, obviously, you've got the link to the website and stuff like that, and then that's got a link to all of our social media pages. So I'm always available on any of those platforms if anyone wants to message me directly on those. And then what I tend to do is when they ask about the walks and stuff like that, I tell them about their local walks. And sometimes, if they really, really need it, we can do a little one-to-one walk beforehand just to ease them in so they can see me face-to-face and have a talk about it. If they're comfortable in the group setting straight away, all they need to do is just tell me they're coming and they come down on the day. So we want to try and make it as easy as possible for people to access it and get involved in it. So there's no waiting list, there's no big forms you need to fill out, there's no personal details. Just tell me you're coming, come down and get involved.
Yeah. Well, talking about getting involved, Saturday 26th of March this year, I believe there is a little walk going from RYE to Hastings. Have you finalised any of those details?
So basically, we decided when we started the multiple groups up, we wanted to find a way to get everybody together in a neutral location where we can all go for a walk together. And what we've been doing, this will be our 4th one we've done now down on the south coast. So get everyone together probably every 3 months maybe. We offer it out to people to come down and get involved. And this one we're going to be doing RYE to to Hastings, as you said, on the 26th of March, which will be a Saturday, and we're looking to arrive in RYE for around 9:45 a.m. But that could be subject to change due to train cancellations or a different station, anything like that. So probably a week before the actual time be confirmed, but we want to try and get there around that time.
Yeah, and where are you setting off from specifically?
Yeah, so we're going directly from the station, so that'd be our meeting point, and then we're ending Hastings, and that's obviously where we get the train home from there. But what we tend to do is when we finish at the end location, we might have a few social drinks, maybe something to eat at the end as well. So anyone in Hastings or RYE is welcome to come along to the whole walk or meet us at any point and come and see what the lads do, and you're more than welcome to get involved, any lads. Oh,
that's brilliant. Well, yeah, well, I'm going to try and promote that as best I can on the podcast and spread the word. I mean, anyone that is listening that's also obviously a Hastings fan, it's so easy to get involved. It's not medicalised. It's not, literally having a nag and a walk.
There's no pressure on talking about stuff you don't want to talk to in any of these walks. You don't have to be in a bad place to come. It's just what we're doing. We're just trying to create a safe space where lads can be open and talk about whatever they want to, and not be judged at all. So if they are in a bit of a bad place and they want to come, more than welcome. There's a lot of ears that can listen to any issues you've got. But then if you're in a really good place, just want to come out and meet some of the lads and have a nice walk on a Saturday, they're more than welcome as well. And one thing we don't do, we don't give any advice, because none of us are qualified to do that. All we do is just lend an ear and just sort of hopefully that takes a bit of pressure off how they're feeling at that time.
Great stuff. So I mean, where do you see this going in the future? Obviously, you've got a lot of branches starting up very quickly, really. I mean, as you've only been going since 2020. I mean, where do you see yourself in the next few years with this?
Well, so the 5-year plan we've got now, since when we started, was to try and have a walk in every borough of London, basically. There's 32 boroughs in London, so we want to try and get a walk in every one of those within 5 years. But when I first started this, I'm still actually doing it. I'm working it around a part-time job I'm doing at the moment. But it's taken us so much now that we're actually going to turn it into an official community interest company, so we can try and get some funding, some private funding, so I don't affect any of the service users. So I can really focus on it full time.
Yeah.
And then I can really make some big progress in trying to push these out in every borough of London, and then hopefully further afield. And it'd be great to have some down at the south coast where you guys are, being by the sea. What an amazing place to have one. It's very therapeutic being by the water, and I'd be happy to talk to anyone down in that way that wants to maybe start a proper Blokes Club branch down that end. So I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, that was my next question to you. How would they do that? But as you say, you're open to that. So just to reiterate, so it's theproperblokesclub.co.uk, the website, @blokesclub on the Twitter. The email is theproperblokesclub@gmail.com. Do you have a phone number as well?
That's 07397 501110. But all that's on so if they go directly to the website, it's got all our social media links, email, phone, everything all in that one bit there. So they can check out any of them.
It's an absolute pleasure, mate. I hope the RYE To Hastings walk goes well, and I hope there's lots of people on it. I'm going to pester I'm going to pester anyone that give me a slap. I'll put this out there because, as you say, it's just about getting out there. This isn't about, you don't have to be in a bad place to go and do this. You can be in a good place. It's just getting out there, having a bit of a laugh, bit of a chat. As you say, there might be a couple of beers or a bag of chips at the end. So, I mean, what's not to like there?
Yeah, the only bad thing was that Hastings weren't playing at home that weekend. I looked at it, they're away now, I think, so that would have been a nice way to end it.
Well, unfortunately, I think we're at East Grinstead, which is not. But I mean, as I say, you were saying about people getting involved, setting up branches here. It's so easy. Scott, take care, mate, and have a good afternoon. All right? Yeah, see you, mate.
See you, mate. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
No worries.
And now over to Tim's takes.
Just come back from a very windy and wet pilot field, just about as bad as it was on Saturday weather conditions. And a disappointing result for the ladies, I'm afraid. They lost their first league game of the season 2-1 to a very determined, hard-working Ashford team. We went 1-0 up in the first half with Izzy Burt scoring, and we conceded a very early goal in the second half for their equaliser, and then they went 2-1 up. They just had sort of 2 breakaways and scored from it. We hit the crossbar with Shah and Heather and had one cleared off the line and came close on a number of occasions. But we gave up the 3 points to Ashford, which is our first league defeat of the season. It's not disastrous for us, I don't think, because if we win all our remaining games, we're going to finish ahead of the other teams. We just have to make sure we beat Acorns, who are at top of the table, and don't have any other slip-ups in our other matches. It's tricky conditions up there. It didn't help our sort of passing game. We did some great moves, passing the ball around at the back and trying to build patiently, but we lacked a bit of end product today, and they had some good defenders, and fair play to Ashford. They came out on top. Billy, I'm interviewing him after the game. He was very positive and upbeat as ever. I'm sure the ladies will bounce back. They've got a League Cup game next week where we're at home to Aylesford, I think, and then we've got a local derby with Bexhill away, and then probably coming up soon with that game against Acorns, which will be a crucial game for us now to make sure we get promoted. So no good news from the ladies, a 2-1 defeat, first league defeat of the season, but it's not all gloom and doom. It was a very good recovery from our men's team, 3-1. Great to see our local players, Sam and Jack, ever reliable midfield players, scoring, and Ben crashing home that penalty at the end. But it was a good 3 points for Hastings on Saturday. Hope both men's and ladies get back on the winning track next week. Cheers.
And now over to the SBTS Fan Roundtable. And big love to Windy John, Flat White Andy, Lays on the Deep Heat Leon, Hair Flick Johnny Wills, and Chegwin Double George Gasson for making it happen.
Hello, chaps. This is amazing. We're all on time. Literally. Well, I don't know if we're on German on time. We're probably a little bit late if it's for a German, but for us English fellows, this is remarkable stuff. How are we all?
All good.
Yeah, good. Had a good Saturday at the football.
No, he's good. I'm glad, George. Yeah, he's giving me shit on Twitter as well. Gives me a warm feeling inside to see these lovely gentlemen in front of me. I see the lovely Leon, Johnny Wills, Georgie, Andy, and the wonderful Windy John.
Hello there.
Joining us for another roundtable after yet another cracking week for the men's team. Bit of a disappointment with the women's team, but we could talk about that a bit later. Who wants to kick off on a game I didn't go to before George mentions it? Oh, sorry, pardon me.
I'll start off appropriately.
Yeah, go on,
about an hour before kick-off, I'll get a phone call from Leon to say, can I have a lift, please? I was just going out the door.
Wobbling it was, yeah. Could I have a lift, please, sir, please?
Yeah, from the police station, of all places.
Yeah.
Right, well, you need to fill us in a bit more there, Leon.
I live in proximity of the police station, so
convenient.
I hadn't spent the night in a cell. I was desperate. None of the taxi companies seemed to be, let me down. So
it was a bit rough at that time.
Yeah. So finished with my deep heat.
But now can we talk about that then, please? Because that was the next subject. Obviously, Andy's informed me about that. So,
I don't know about you guys, but when I use deep heat for injuries, for like muscular injuries, I mean, if you want,
how did you get them though? That's the thing.
You've got like tingly Durex for whatever stuff you guys want to use, but. I did my calf playing football last week, and had to spend a couple of days off work using copious amounts of deep heat just to try and recover. So it's quite boring, really.
Well, see, that's the problem we've got. Yeah, like any good story, you need to put a little bit of seasoning on it.
I'm not a storyteller.
A little bit of salt and pepper. You know, it could be some sort of marathon love session.
Yeah, we did believe it was part of your Valentine's Day warm-up.
Exactly.
Unlikely. I wish.
You're just going through your stretching a bit early in the morning, but you know, preparation.
Well, when I did my injuries, I was playing that cellar scum. I don't know if you've ever been to the pub out there. You've got like a little green strip, and you've got like a gang of geese that just sort of hang about.
Yeah, I've been almost taken out by them on my bike a couple of times.
And the trouble is, obviously, this time I could barely walk. I opened the door and they clock me, and you've got about 20 geese just sort of slowly sort of getting closer and closer, and I can't run because I'm crippled. And luckily, swung the door shut, and they were right there, right by the window. But
so you had a quick gander.
Yeah. I was waiting for it.
Deep heat. When I was at school, it was banned from our changing rooms. So because somebody got a job lot of it in can form, and it was just absolute carnage. It was eventually it was banned from the whole school because of that. Because it was just getting sprayed literally everywhere. It was all in people's. Well, the old traditional one about in their pants and that sort of thing, and then just people coming out of the change room with bright red faces, just absolutely. It was just none of it was actually used for the purpose for which it was intended.
Just make sure you don't go for a wee immediately after using it.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah, we get something in your eye.
If ever I smell it, it reminds me of school.
Anyway, I love football. Football's great, isn't it?
Right, well, Wills has returned. John, are you still upset with me?
Always, yes, always. Yeah, I just, you've turned the club into like Man United with the cucumber sandwiches, and what you've got to be there in person, mate.
So don't like. Okay, all right. I missed one game. Anyway, moving on.
Big game, though, wasn't it? Big game to miss.
It was, yeah. It was probably the fulcrum of the season. I would have thought, really.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk to Andy, because Andy was getting a shout out from Gary Elphick. He was shouting directly at him when that first goal went in. So what was said, Andy?
I think he was really just relishing the level of support he gets from the main stand as opposed to behind the goals. I think that was what was really, really getting him stoked, being in front of that wall of support. You get the faint noise drifts down from either end, but it's just that, it's just the atmosphere. I mean, Elland Road on Sunday was nothing compared to the main stand on Saturday, I tell you. It was seething.
It's absolutely true. When there's a goal and everyone jumps up for the loo, you get that consonant pads, and it's deafening.
That was quite funny, his reaction. I did wonder who he was gesturing at. Actually, I was tucked up in the pigeon loft because I caught the bus and couldn't get my usual seat, which I was rather annoyed by. I thought I was going to say someone's sitting there, mate, as they say, but no, too late. But it's quite a good view up the back. Actually, I quite enjoyed that.
Right then. Anyone going to talk about the game? Come on in.
I will.
Yeah,
firstly,
thanks, George.
It's less of a wall of support, more like a flapping fence in the wind, isn't it? Really.
It was as well.
So behind the goal, with all the real fans, Phoenix Sports brought some fans. They actually brought some fans. They brought more fans than Chris brought. Obviously, Chris brought 0 because he wasn't at the game.
I brought fans. There was 5 of us listening on the radio. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Yeah, and actually, from Phoenix Sports' point of view, there were a load of them in their clubhouse listening to Adam Carter's commentary. So well done to Adam for that. And I saw them, Phoenix Sports, post the link to the Adam's commentary on Twitter. So it's a big well done to him for that. But they brought some fans, and we had to change ends. We were all down in the Coal Warren for the first half, and we had to change ends. We were in the same stand. And we had 2 sets of fans in the same end. And nothing happened, which is amazing. It's amazing how two sets of fans can be in the same end and like no one jumps on anyone or threatens anyone with violence. It's amazing. Hello, Sittingbourne. So it was great to see. Good support from us, and one of those ones like we're not always going to be 3-0 up at half time. It's going to be one. They're on a good run. It was a pretty non-eventful first half. We were in control of it, and then going 1-0 down. The moment that we all knew that we were going to win. So we've been giving the keeper some stick because he had the worst moustache you've ever seen. Like, incredible. You'd have loved it, Chris, if you were there.
Sell me to it. So all right, go on. But tell me about this.
He looked like a Mick Borat.
Yeah, it was shocking.
You're not talking about early 90s Gooch, no?
No, he wasn't fat enough.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty shocking. So they go 1-0 up, and he turns around to us, and he's giving it the big one, like as you would. But he gave it such a big one. Was like, wow, we're going to win. Has to happen now. It's like just wait till we get our second. And a few choice words are said at him. Can't repeat on this family podcast.
Was Joe there?
Joe was there, yes.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah. Mental disintegration took place then. Yeah.
It was pretty good. And then obviously 2 minutes later, it's 1-1, and then another 6 minutes later, and it's 2-1. Two excellent goals actually. And if you're looking at any level of football, you'd say they were good finishes. There was a turn and shoot from Sam Adams, who feels like I feel like he has so much time on the ball. It's unbelievable. Inside the 18-yard box. Great work from Nori as well. Volley from Dicko. Outstanding finish as well. And for the third goal, big credit to James Hull, who's won that penalty, getting in between the two centre backs, which is his job as a forward. So all around a great day out.
Yeah. Leon? Anything to that?
Yeah, no, I saw him up until when they got their first goal. I was just sort of wishing it had been called off, really. And then what a way to reply. I think after they scored, it was a wake up call, and we just completely dominated, showed their class, and I think after that it was only going to be one result.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's interesting what Leon says there, because I sent you that message, didn't I, before the game, and I really, really didn't fancy it. I really didn't fancy it. I fancied it more than Amir Khan fancied it, but I really didn't fancy it nevertheless. I think I had to shoehorn that one in. Seriously, no, I left late because I said to Chris before the game, I said, this is the sort of game where we're going to put the game on and risk throwing away 3 points that we might need. And when they scored that goal, I thought, surely not, because we were in control. And didn't they just sort of give the ball away 2 or 3 times just out the blue?
Hastings did, yeah. First half, I thought I was actually quite disappointed the first half. We were in control, but we were losing so many passes in the first half in midfield. But I think it's the same for both sides because of the conditions. But I think we noticed it more because we were looking at Hastings, and
they always looked as though Hastings always looked as though they were going to win. I mean,
I didn't think it was going to lose, but
but it was just that slight moment of trepidation when the goal went in. You think, oh well, we've got to somehow dig 2 out of this.
As soon as that goal went in, I turned around to the guys I was standing with. I stayed up the Elphinstone Road end. It was quite interesting because, like George was just saying about the Phoenix fans. Yeah, they were there, and I don't know where they all came from because I didn't see them in the first half. But there was quite a few up that end. There's probably a dozen, which is a lot for them. It's probably about a quarter of their normal attendance.
But a normal day to travel.
Yeah. But no, I turned around to them and said that's going to be the kick up the arse we need. And sure enough, I looked at Sam actually, and he was fuming. But that goal went in, he was actually fuming, and it was almost like he took that ball on his own and thought, I'm going to score now. And he had that chance. Brilliant goal.
It was a brilliant goal. Watching it back today, actually, I mean,
it's quite swerving.
The control from Nori Scott and from Sam to shift it onto his right foot and score. I mean, it looked brilliant at the time.
There was quite a curve on it, but I think it was wind assisted, but still got to go in.
The knockdown from Tom Chalmers for for
for
Dixon's goal.
Dixon's goal, yeah.
He's so good in the air, Tom, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
It's just, you know, sort of thing. I hadn't really noticed it this year, how that side of his game has really come to the fore. Makes a difference.
It does, yeah.
And swapping him to the right-hand side at the back seemed to make a difference as well. Him bringing the ball out doesn't have to create a threat.
I think the new guy made a big difference.
Yeah, so when did he come on? Did he come on
half-time?
It was half-time.
No, half-time. Yeah.
Yeah, so what's he like?
Fast. I thought, and I spent a bit of time just watching him, and his movement off a ball was very, very good, because he was keeping them keeping the team stretched. And I think it made us a few spaces. We did have that early scare in the second half when they did score. In fact, they could have scored a couple before that.
Yes.
So it was a bit hairy for a little while, but and then after that, I think he made a big difference. It's got, Well,
I saw the video at the end where he's pointing to the badge and all that. So it was all that. He looks like he wants to be here, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I was about to say it was great when the penalty went in. He was literally right in front of our standing, like celebrating in front of us. It was for a guy who's literally just joined to see him enjoy it that much. It's good to see.
He's already done us favours by scoring against Cray anyway, didn't he? So it was the other week he scored for them, so that helped us, didn't it? Well, he was playing for Lancing, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Cray tomorrow.
Who are you saying? Sorry,
I'm going to go see Cray tomorrow.
Oh, are you? Who they got?
They're playing Folkestone in the Velocity Champions League Cup quarter final. I think. So and it looks like they're playing, apart from the keeper, most of the first team players in that. So I'm going to go have a look, see what.
You can have a little whisper to some of those Folkestone players, yeah. To put
apart from leave Hass alone. Leave Hass alone, but the rest are fair game.
Sharpen up their studs a bit.
Well, Wills, your thoughts on the game?
Fantastic crowd, considering the conditions. There are a few comments going about, well, will the game be off or not? That's always you're counting 100 out, just someone seeing those comments. But it was another huge crowd comparatively to others on a day like that. I thought it was exciting to have such a big signing, really. I think the main thing was just his enthusiasm, as others have said, to be there. He looks like he's going to run and for the badge. So that was great to see. I thought conditions, they just looked a bit laboured tactically in the first half. Hastings did, but what a fantastic reaction to going a goal down. It's just like second half we moved up a gear, and on top of that I think there was a lot going on with tactical changes as well. We seemed to go from a first half of almost like a 4-5-1 with the wide players not really getting wide and forward enough, to suddenly this robust 4-3-3, and the chances kept coming. So it was I really enjoyed it, to be seeing football like that, with conditions like that. It was great.
Yeah, it was good old fashioned Saturday afternoon football. That was.
Yeah, Mickey West. We won his Mickey Westborough in there.
Yes, it. His name was mentioned quite a lot, actually.
It's a good feature of again, I mentioned it last week. I think he makes decisive substitutions.
Absolutely.
He doesn't shy away from making a sub, and I think that's really positive. And it did moving TC over to the right hand side and picking up with Nori, and then bringing the new guy over on the left. It changed. Even though we conceded the goal, it changed things for us, and
it did.
It happened.
I thought Nori had an absolute blinding second half. He was just all over everything he did. I don't know whether it's just from where I was standing, 'cause it's quite a distance away, but he looked pretty class out there.
Yeah, he did. He worked. It was the second half. He gelled better with Tom Chalmers than he did with Cooney on the other side. They seem to not quite be on the not on the same wavelength.
Just one thing about the because obviously I was listening on the commentary. One thing I must mention before I mention Cooney. Yes, we had 700 and was it 750 there? But big shout out to Adam. There was over 430 plus on the.
That's amazing.
So, I mean,
let's hope they all donated a bit of money.
Yeah, it'll be coming in on a throne. Don't encourage him, mate. It'll be on a gold throne before you know it. Commentary was really good. Well, I'm obviously biased, but like it does suck you in.
Especially when a goal goes in, eh?
Well, yeah, but it was this miss. This is why I want to mention it. This Cooney miss. I mean, it was to listen to Adam's commentary on that was. He's how is he missed it? You know, it was quite insane, just the fact that he missed that. But
it was literally like he'd got a sort of sand wedge on his foot. It really was. It just the scoop on it. But do you think he wears his socks down just because he's trying to get value for money out of that tattoo on his calf? You know, I do. I wonder whether he's
Celtic cross.
I've got this tattoo and I'm damn well going to keep it on display no matter what. I don't know.
I think they fall down because they're a bit stretched where he pulls rabbits out of them. Oh, no.
Another Tommy Cooper reference. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Well, chaps, I wasn't there, so I'm just trying to think. Is there anything we need to talk about?
Were you not there, Chris?
No, I wasn't. You've already reminded me a few times.
You're not there at the game,
George. Yeah. When was the last time I did this to you?
The last time I missed a game.
I'm sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Twitter, this git. Yeah. Shame you weren't there, Chris, and all this sort of stuff. You know.
I reckon you went to see Whitehawk instead. Your actual favourite team.
Did you see that they're talking Whitehawk versus Isms was on last Saturday, and it. I thought they were playing Faversham, but they weren't. They were playing Isms. And
no, they were playing Homophobia FC. I thought they'd posted up Whitehawk versus and Faversham were like anti-gay. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I know. Bizarre.
Yeah, anyway. Mad. Yeah, I'm sure Faversham are all right.
They didn't.
They got Claire Baldwin up there, the stewards. So they
was that Claire Baldwin. That was Faversham.
That's Faversham. Yeah. So obviously Faversham aren't homophobic because they got Claire Baldwin. So yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know. The absolute ringer of Claire Balding is a steward for Faversham, and she didn't like George because he couldn't have his drum. Wasn't it? Was it the drum?
You weren't allowed to sing up there.
Oh yeah, so you weren't allowed to sing.
We had to say all of our chants in prose when we
That was quite funny. We did it for a little while.
Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah.
So
I think it's one of those games, just to finish that. I think it's one of those games that we could have quite easily drawn that or lost it a few years back. And when you play crap, and it wasn't as brilliant as it could be. I'm not saying it was crap all the way through, but you know, we seem to be scraping out a couple of results that we wouldn't have got a few years ago. And that, for me, means that we're nearly there. God. Personally,
lucky Ian isn't on.
Yeah, well, it's usually you. So
yeah. Yeah,
it does seem to be becoming a bit of a recurring thing on this pod. Like we saying like a few years ago, that's the sort of game we would have either lost or drawn, and we've gone on to get all 3 points. But going back on our wingers, I was going to say earlier, like at the start of the season, I think that was something we lacked massively, was any sort of pace in the team. And now obviously like Nori's playing really well, and obviously we had Cisse for a bit, he did well, and this new guy looks like he's a good signing. So it's always something I've noticed. Like when we've played other teams, it's something it's always looks dangerous against us. Is any little bit of pace. Yeah. It's nice that now we have players in the squad that can get on their bike.
He's almost as fast as you, mate.
Except in several. It's not that fast.
It is amazing what a difference some pace in your team makes, isn't it? I mean, when Nori wasn't fit. And then we had
Lonray.
Lanry. Yeah. And Lanry wasn't really with it, was he? I mean, we were waiting for him to return to the Lanry of a few years ago, and it just wasn't happening. And it's just amazing how laboured our play was. But once you got a bit of pace in that team, the way you can stretch, as you would say, I think it was you, John, wasn't it, about how he made those runs to stretch that team.
Yeah, just
give us that space for other players.
Especially with that back four of theirs, they didn't even seem to know that he was out on the wing. And he was literally on the touchline, and I think it was Stone. He pinged this ball about 50 yards. It went straight to his feet. And it's like, we hadn't seen that for a while. So I thought, it's quite promising.
Well,
good move.
Well, obviously, great win. I must ask, but I think George has left us. I must ask who bowled the Skittles over at the end of the game?
James Hull.
Was it James Hull?
Yeah, well, when everyone goes,
oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was him.
It was.
James Hull.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit of a shame they didn't let him take the penalty, actually.
Yeah. Pope's taking that every day.
Well, I guess they weren't getting it off Ben, but I thought he almost, having made that run and got in between them, I think he almost deserved to go at the penalty, I must admit.
Does anybody know where's Ollie Black? Is he injured or is he just suspended, or he didn't play, did he? He wasn't on the bench.
He was at the ground.
Could that be another deep heat injury? Valentine's deep heat. Obviously, how many cans would he need?
I know he'd probably use his hands. Allegedly.
So there was someone throwing with their hands.
Yeah.
I'll throw it. Come on.
Old school.
Old school.
Well, with those temperatures, you give the lad a rest.
Going back to the gate a bit, I must have known about 10 people that couldn't go just because they were putting their fences back up. And there's a couple of guys who have been up, and they don't normally go, but they've been up recently, and I know they're roofers, and they were going to go, but they couldn't go because they were fixing other people's. Yeah. So I wonder how many people were actually not at a game because of that. Let alone the fact that it was pretty shit that day anyway.
It's pretty amazing when you think of that was a big crowd 3 years ago. 700 was a bank holiday crowd, wasn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
And now we're just 750 odd in that kind of weather. There was 900 in the howling rain a couple of weeks ago, wasn't there?
It'd be interesting to see how many at Chichester, won't it? 2 coach loads.
Well, it's crazy, and obviously we've already mentioned that the radio, 430. I mean, it's just there's obviously lots of people out there that want to get their Hastings fix.
Yeah.
All credit to him. I was stunned when I saw the numbers. I really thought that is impressive.
It is good.
We're going to call it Adam Carter numbers.
Oh yeah.
Adam Carter numbers.
For the amount of times I was checking my phone, like waiting to go out, it's expecting it to be like, no, it's called off, too windy. Because the first thing in the morning, it was quite nice. Lovely blue skies and obviously I'm out working in it, and you feel, that's all right. There was, out of my delivery, there was loads of roof tiles on the floor. So we didn't go out, didn't go out in it on the Friday. And the next day sort of saw the aftermath, and there was quite a bit of damage.
Words with you then, Leon. In 87, I did my paper round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went to do my paper round. The news agent was shut because they weren't, it was crazy. 87 of the big storm. So I was prepared to do my paper round then, and you're not prepared to deliver our Amazon deliveries.
I was prepared. But they told us no, it's not safe.
Yeah, that's the going back to the heat again.
It's not as if you could go home and do anything, because there's half the country had a bloody power cut. So I actually ended up reading a book, would you believe it, for the first time in God knows how many years. Yeah,
one of my middle kids was the Wi-Fi went. So that's like, oh my God, I have to talk to my parent, you know what I mean, type situation. So that was a bit hairy for him. Talking to hairy, George is back.
Hey.
Cheggers. You right there, George?
Yeah, good. I did a Kev.
What, thumbs up?
No, Kev. I know. Oh, yeah, Kev. Amazing in the group chat. No,
Thumbs up, mate.
Yeah, did a Kev.
Yeah. We're kind of done with the game. Is there anything you want to mention just before we move on?
Not about the game. Great. Just a great day out. Great to see the players enjoy themselves in the clubhouse afterwards. And yeah.
Oh yeah, please, George, tell us about that. What any decent scenes there?
Yeah, bit of singing. The same room as the players. Everyone's so close to it. The team seemed like really together. It's just a great environment to be in at the moment. Oh yeah, needs mentioning. James Hull, shocking. Wears Crocs, white Crocs. James Hull wears white Crocs.
Can't be selling.
Well, I've gone to John Meaney. I've said to John Meaney, right, that's a fine. He's got to get a fine for that. There's got to be some sort of structure in the club for that.
Crocs.
And quote from John Meaney, a fine. He's going out on loan next week. So absolute shocker.
I'm stunned.
That's not cool, is it, nowadays? Like,
I fucking hope not.
Because I don't get that they wear sliders, don't they? But with socks, and they have their socks pulled halfway on their calves, and I walk around. I look at them and think, if I wore that when I was at school, I would
get beat up.
You'd have got bullied, wouldn't you?
I would have had
definitely have got bullied.
I would have had deep heat sprayed down my trousers.
You lucky bugger.
I wish.
Yeah, James Hull was getting some stick actually because singing that he's a virgin, and and then.
Well, it's classic virgin stuff, isn't it? White Crocs. I mean, you're not. Yeah. Anyway,
white Crocs are a better contraceptive than condoms.
Yeah,
like 100%. But yeah, and then
I'm not sure about that, George.
Joe making a chant about that he prefers James Hull to Dan Hull. That one. Yeah, so yeah, it was good fun in the clubhouse afterwards, and the team seems really together. So it was great to see.
Who started the shit Tom Selleck chant aimed at their keeper?
Oh, that's Rob. That's Robbie.
Oh, was it?
His movie knowledge finally came into fruition.
Brilliant.
And none of the 15-year-olds in the stand with us. Who the fuck's Tom Selleck?
That's a compliment, really. Even a shit Tom Selleck must
exactly
better than what most of us could.
Even Tom Selleck in An Innocent Man is good. Just I know Tom Selleck films. That's tremendous.
Tom Selleck, Three Men and a Baby. Is he in that?
Yeah, Magnum PI.
Burt Reynolds, something like that.
It was 15 Men and a Baby in the clubhouse afterwards with Ben Pope's little one. They're all going over and saying hello. It was kind of cute. Good fun. You should have come to the game, Chris. It was good.
No, I'm telling you,
it was good fun.
I was in Fleet with my brother and his family. We're in entertaining the kids in the park. Blah blah blah. I've got the radio on, listening to Adam. Not all the kids. My daughter's coming up asking me what the score was and all that while we're entertaining them. So at least I could hear my beloved Hughes. I knew I'd.
So why weren't you there then? Because all I heard was Chris has got more kids than Boris, and he needs to go and see them. They're all around the country.
I'm sure I haven't got as many as Boris, have I?
I don't know, mate. I think you're up there. So just all dotted all around the country. So yeah. That's what I heard anyway. That was
I'm sure. Yeah, from one of your sources.
More kids than clambers.
I was saying that I saw the boys. What's that one in Bexhill? Is that Clambers? Or is that?
I thought you talking about your kid. What's that one in Bexhill?
No. There's a Clambers.
How old are they?
Bexhill.
Which missus was this?
I saw Dane and Pete Heritage not playing with kids. Because we'd never say that.
Right, in the park in Bexhill.
No,
were they dressed up as the dinosaur or something like that? No, they were. This is Sports Centre. He was there doing his. I don't know what Heritage was up to. He threw me some abuse while I was taking the kids up to the thing. It was quite funny, but I don't know where to go with that. That's quite funny. Right, moving on. From a wonderful game. Did anyone go to the women's game?
Sam Labatt went to the women's game. He went.
I want to mention Sam Labatt. Now, Sam Labatt, I saw a picture of him with the drum.
Yeah.
Is there any evidence of him attempting to show some rhythm?
I watched the video without sound on.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't know.
You could tell he wasn't in time.
No, it's great. It's great. Sam wants to go to the women's game and get behind the team, which is great. He's got the drum out. Yeah, and I heard they didn't get on as well, but perhaps it's Sam's fault. There we go.
Connected, yeah.
I think we blame Sam. Don't worry, we've got Tim's takes now. Timothy Booth Jones doing the women's game for us for this podcast now, and he's already put his 2 penneth in, and that will be on this podcast. So at least we've got some stuff on the women's game, because it's a shame. Obviously, none of us can really. There's not enough time in the world to do everything. So yeah. Well, although Wills lives next door to the ground, he could get off his arse and go. But I'm sure you got anything to say about that, John?
Well, at least I didn't sit at home in an armchair instead of going to the match.
Okay, right. And moving on, Chichester, yeah.
You going to this one, Chris?
Possibly.
Yeah. Mate, big one. Loads of people going. I know there's an extra coach that's not connected to the club going.
The big boys are going, aren't they?
Yeah,
I'm going to be on that. Yeah, I'm going to be on that coach, and it sounds like there's some seriously experienced drinkers on that coach, so it might be a good life lesson for me.
What time's the game?
I think we're leaving. I'm getting picked up at Silver Hill Club about 9, I think.
Yeah, it's supposed to get to just about 11, I think.
Yeah, so find out what pubs are open over there and take over the town. I think it's only a little place, isn't it?
You're going to be the youngest one on that coach, mate.
Yeah,
you know that.
Probably. Yeah, that's a good thing, isn't it? Look at me and think, oh, fresh meat.
Yeah, you better take that.
Take that TV with you, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be a few of us are going Friday night.
Go on. Are there a few posties on that coach, Leon?
Sorry, say that again, mate.
Are there a few posties on that coach?
I don't know about posties. I think it's a guy, Tim Reeves. I think he had something to do with the Chelsea Supporters Club. He's put on the coach, so they're all.
A lot of them
all sort of know each other.
He does a lot through like charity for the they go horse racing
race nights and that. Yeah, that's it.
And my postman's a Chelsea fan and goes up occasionally and comes to the Hastings game occasionally. He was talking about the Chichester game. So
he's not called Max, is he?
He is called Max, yes.
Yeah, I know him, yeah.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to spill the beans.
Coach for the postman is going to arrive on Tuesday, isn't it?
If at all.
If at all, yeah.
No, you have to come and collect us.
Return to send.
Turn up, yeah. You'd have to come pick us up.
Waiting for the coach to arrive, and it would just be a little slip of paper saying, "Sorry, I thought the pub was shut." And then gone back home.
They'll just leave them behind some bins just outside Chichester. We could go on.
No, that's Hermes.
Rivals,
you're lucky to get it.
Hermes away next week. Hermes away next week.
Parcel delivery rivalry.
But it's another game that got to win, isn't they?
Yeah.
I just don't, it's the same old thing, isn't it? It's ours to lose now, isn't it? And Chichester, never that easy, but you never know, do you?
It's got to take one game at a time, really, isn't it? So I think sort of everyone's sort of got their eyes on, is it Cray?
Cray, that's the one.
Because I think Simon Stoddart's been saying on like Facebook, all the fan groups, just sort of, we've got to concentrate on Chichester next week. Just take each game as it comes. Because any team really in this league have shown that they can take points off. The bottom teams have shown they can take points off.
More competitive, isn't it?
Teams. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it was probably 2 years ago. Even though obviously the best team is still at the top of the division, but you can see like Phoenix, new manager, cutting new players coming through, and teams are just like Lancing and playing better now.
Yeah,
Hive are playing better now. Seven Oaks will be playing better by the time we play them at the end of the season. Maybe that was a weird one. Did we see about Seven Oaks manager?
Yeah. About?
So basically, he was at Glebe, right? Who have got a few players in. It's like them and Sheppy at the top of the Scaffold Prem, and they've So they found out that he applied for the Sevenoaks job. Like, he didn't tell them. Like, they found out that he applied. And then Sevenoaks said they'd had 57 applicants for the job. And then the next day they announced him as the manager. So they managed to obviously get through the 57 overnight, interview them all. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And they reckon that they might get a few players from Glebe and Sheppey and go to Sevenoaks. So that could be a different challenge on the last game of the season. Because they're in a bit of trouble, aren't they? They could go down. And actually, there could be a playoff game between Sevenoaks and a team like Glebe for a place in this division next year. So, yeah, a bit of spice from Kent.
I think players from Glebe, Sevenoaks, all that lot, they swap around quite a lot anyway. Frankie Sawyer was at Glebe, he was at Sevenoaks. So
I was thought Whitehawk were nailed on to go down, weren't they, George?
It depends if they manage to beat homophobia. We'll see. But no, I think, I don't know, it's a tough one. Phoenix look better than, obviously they're better than they were, and they were bottom. It's really hard to call. I thought Whitstable were all right against us, and they seem to be tough to break down, but they do get broken down. You see they lose a lot in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, like Ashford.
Yeah, they did it again, and I think they're in massive trouble, Whitstable. I think my money was on them to go, but it's 2 teams plus a playoff team. So a decent side could go down out of the division. I would like Whitehawk, Sevenoaks to go, personally.
Whitehall last season were in playoff place, weren't they, this time?
Yeah, they kind of swapped around with Ramsgate, haven't they?
Yeah.
Ramsgate are a funny old team, aren't they? I like the look of them, and they'll win a game and then lose what you think.
Do you think it's a factor of some of these clubs with their? I mean, they've got an almost perfect 3G pitch, haven't they? Do you think it's a factor of them 3G pitches? Makes a difference, I think, to their form away at home and away, makes them form more variable, because that was a super slick 3G pitch they got, and I wonder whether that affects teams' forms home and away, and distorts it a bit.
Well, that Matt Longhurst has got super slick hair, the manager of Ramsgate. I mean, super slick pitch, super slick hair. I mean, we're going to John Wills again here. I've got to get one more dig in before we finish. Come on, Andy, I'm disappointed. What's that say?
That's the Whitehall badge.
Is that the Whitehall badge? Is it? All right. Something about awareness or something.
Chris, one question that will help all Hastings fans on Saturday. Who have you interviewed from Chichester, so we know to avoid them? Because everyone you interview ends up falling out with us or the club. So you either interviewed the chairman of Ashford, the chairman of Ashford Middlesex, or the son of him,
that was about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Who ended up him and his mates.
Yeah, wanted to fight everyone. Yes.
Wanted to fight everyone. You've interviewed the bloke who blocked everyone off a Sitting Bull Facebook page. Who else have you interviewed?
Listen to yourself. Blocked people from a Sitting Bull Facebook page. I mean,
he got well upset, didn't he? So who are you interviewing that's going to not like us in 1 week's time?
Oh no, well, I'm interviewing a fella from the Proper Blokes Club. It's a men's mental health thing. That's tomorrow, and next week it's probably Finn O'Mara.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, no, there you go.
That will be good.
It was going to be Craig Stone, but I've got too many children and no time. So
I've seen Finn O'Mara been interviewed before. Have a look on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward. No, I'm very much looking forward to that because he's a proper chap.
Yeah. Can I just mention about? You might have seen it on Facebook, and not talking about Partygate. Westfield.
What's Partygate, John?
Last night.
What's that?
We won't go into that. On a serious note, Westfield's pitch and all their bits around their ground got totally wrecked by the storm. And if anybody wants to, not just here, but in general, if anybody's listening on the podcast, I'm sure they could do with a bit of help. So you go on the Westfield Facebook site and there's a donation page there.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll stick that on the
if you look for
when I put the podcast out on Thursday.
Yeah, Jack Stapley put it up, I think, and it's pretty bad over there. So I think they wanted about 1,500. It's 350 already raised, so it's going all right. But every little helps.
Oh, it does.
They have had some crap luck with their grounds. Their clubhouse burnt down. Didn't it? Yeah. I think they've been relegated a few times because of their grounds. I know they should eventually be moving soon across the road, don't they?
That's the optimistic side. That new area is looking really good. Actually, you can see the clubhouse is in shape.
Okay.
And the pitch looks good next to that estate they're building. So that's actually the optimistic. That new setup they've got there looks really neat. Actually, it has to be said. So that's
it's
nice little club.
It's a great club, and it's a club that when we had all this nonsense, we didn't play any games, and then we had some friendlies lined up, and we obviously played at Westfield. In that friendly, and they gave Hastings United the warmest welcome, brilliant host, lovely people. So it's definitely a club worth supporting.
Definitely,
friends of 100%. Hastings United in the area.
100%. Yeah.
Oh no, good for mentioning that, Wendy, because let's all spread that word.
No, so I think Wayne put it up first, but I'll spread it around today as well. It's just I thought that they need some help. So
nice.
Anybody listening?
Absolutely. Chaps, I think, is that we're done?
I think so. We won't go about part. We won't talk about part.
What's Partygate? I don't know what you mean. Wendy.
So Matt wasn't around to come on today then?
No, he's band practice. Band practice. He wanted to do Tuesday.
I'll tell you what, if I was him, I'd be making a nice little number or two.
A few songs.
Yes.
Again, freedom of speech. He could, it's just you don't respond to it. That's what I would say. But
it's like telly, isn't it? If something crap comes on telly, you turn it over. Don't have to read. You don't have to watch it. Same as if something you don't agree with on telly on the Facebook, don't read it. Within reason.
Well, within reason.
Yeah, I always think it's a very enjoyable, heartfelt sort of summary of the day. All doing something on the day, but we all end up here, don't we, at the pilot field, and it's just very readable. I thought it's excellent.
Yeah, and when you read it back,
Stock, John, do you remember Matt Stock?
Yeah.
I keep wanting to call him Matt Stock, but anyway,
pretty close.
He was a good player, wasn't he?
He was, for his size.
His wits.
Well, one last thing before we go, George. You saying about Chichester? Do you say you was going down there?
Yeah, that's it.
Friday down there early on Friday.
Friday to Sunday, mate.
Yeah,
we're going to do a little recce
Friday
night.
Scope their pubs and see.
There's a couple of big pubs. I'm going to see if I can be like, look, there'll be 50 lads in here tomorrow. Get another couple of members of staff here. Make yourself some money. I mean, we want to get served beer. They want to make money. You know what I mean? And it's the worst thing, isn't it? Like, we get there's one bloke on the pump, and then you got to get
especially if they just opened.
Exactly. So I'll put a little word in on the Friday night. See what the score is with.
Play.
You don't want that.
It should be fun.
You don't want that Ashford situation, do you? Where there's queues going out the door.
I was going to say, I want to tell Chichester to stock up on their beer as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, chaps, thank you, Wendy, Andy, George, Leon, John. See you at the game, yeah? You take care.
See you at the game.
See you at the game. See you at the pub.
Yeah. That's it for another week, Hughes fans. A beauty from Super Sammy Adams got the ball rolling to put the Phoenix to sleep and keep our noses ahead at the top. Who's getting nervous? As ever, if you want to get in contact with the show, or have any suggestions, or want to get in on our weekly roundtables, that email again is hufcpod@gmail.com, or on the Twitter, which is @hufcpodcast. You can get this podcast on all major platforms, be it Google Podcasts, Audible, iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And we have a jam-packed YouTube channel, chock-a-block, full of video interviews and episodes from the podcast. Please, please, please give it a look, a comment, or a like. But definitely subscribe. It's all free. All that's left for me to say is, I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week, and see you at the game.